Hello, 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 hello. 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 I know you didn't come out this far not to be friendly. I know all these children of God that radiate love, we're going to say hello to each other, right?
Right.
We are at least that evolved that we can smile at each other. All right? I'm going to be on page...
Your colors. I'm autumn. You are beautiful fall, but there you go. And beautiful spring sitting right next to her. Yeah, and then spring.
Isn't that fun?
I'm gonna do a series on what. Hello. Bring it in. Bring it in.
Children should be friendly.
Bring it in.
Movie and Holy Spirit.
Bring it. I know you are. I know you. We all are. We can't help it.
Right.
We don't have no choice. We're much more loving than we think we are. And in spite of our best efforts, the part of us that loves us keeps on coming through. I'm going to cover a section called the Holy Spirit's Curriculum on page 215 in the text of A Course in Miracles. And this section is called the Judgment of the Holy Spirit. It's called the Judgment of, we're going to do an instant translation of the Course in Miracles. It's only talking about love or fear. So I'm going to read this so that I can get it in terms of love and fear and in terms of the Holy Spirit. So the judgment of the Holy Spirit is simply the judgment of a loving mind. This is the way a loving mind looks at things. You've been told not to make error real. You've been told not to make error real. You've been told not to make your mistakes real. The way to do this is very simple. If you don't want to make your errors real, the way to do it is very simple. Now, if you want to believe in error, he says if you want to believe in error, you would have to make error real because error is not true. Error is not true. Error is not true. Error is not true. But truth is real in its own right, and to believe in truth, you do not have to do anything to believe in truth.
Yes.
You do not have to do anything to believe in truth. You do not have to do anything to believe in truth. You don't have to do anything to believe in truth. You don't have to do anything to believe in truth. Understand that you do not respond to anything directly. You don't respond to anything directly. You don't directly respond to anything. You don't directly respond to anything. You respond to your interpretation of it. You're not responding to anything directly. You're responding to your interpretation of it. So it's your interpretation that thus becomes a justification for the response. That's why analyzing the motives of others is hazardous to you. Analyzing somebody else's motive is hazardous to you. If you decide that someone is really trying to attack you or desert you or enslave you, you will respond as if he'd actually done so. If you decide that someone is really trying to attack you or desert you or enslave you, you will respond as if he had actually done so, having made his error real to you. To interpret error is to give error power. To interpret an error is to give it power. To try to interpret an error is to give it power. And having done this, interpreted an error, and given it power, you will overlook the truth. Okay. All right. So, if you believe in error, you'd have to make it real because it's not true. So Spirit is telling us that we don't make any mistakes. Then it says the truth is real in its own right, so to believe in the truth, you don't have to do anything. So if it's really true, you don't have to do anything. If it's really love, you don't have to do anything. If it's really love, you don't have to do anything. If it's really love, you don't. Now, I want to pay attention to the feelings that come up for me when I say stuff like that. If it's really love, I don't have to do anything. If it's really love, they don't have to do anything. The truth, to believe in the truth, you don't have to do anything. To believe in the truth, you don't have to do anything. Next thing it told me is to understand that I'm not responding to anybody in this room directly. I'm responding to my interpretation of everybody in this room. And so my interpretation of you becomes a justification for how I respond to you. The way I see you becomes a justification for how I respond to you. How I interpret you becomes a justification for how I respond to you. So if I think you're trying to hurt me, I'm going to respond to you as if you tried to hurt me. If I interpret that you love me, I'm going to respond to you as if you love me. Whatever my interpretation of you is going to determine how I respond to you. So everybody in my life is responding to me according to their judgment of me and according to their interpretation of me. So everybody's responding to me according to their interpretation of me. Everybody's response to me is coming from their interpretation of me. How everybody treats me is coming from their interpretation of me. So if I decide that somebody's trying to desert me, if I decide that you're trying to enslave me, then I'm going to act like you really did it. If I interpret that you don't like me, then I'm going to respond to you just like you don't like me, because I've interpreted that you don't like me. So I'm going to respond to you like you don't like me. So therefore, I'm making the error real to me, because I'm sitting up here trying to interpret you, and I'm interpreting you wrong. And then I'm given that power. So I believe my interpretation of you is truer than the truth about you. I believe the way I see you is truer than how you are. Matter of fact, I put the way I see you above how you see you. I put the way I see you above anything, and I respond to you the way I see you.
That's powerful.
All right. Okay. Any comments or questions about that paragraph?
Well, you did say that to notice how you feel when, like, but truth is real in its own right, and to believe in the truth, you do not have to do anything. And I recognize that panic and fear is coming up because I'm still under that old belief that I have to do something.
Right.
I have to do something.
Right.
And what do you mean I don't have to do anything? It's like.
Thank you. So you're responding to your interpretation. Right. Yeah. What you just told me was nothing but a response to your interpretation of what you just heard, which is just proof that what it says is true.
Yeah.
Because that's not true, that you have to do anything. But you believe you have to do anything. Do something, right? So now you are making the error real to you. And you're putting what you feel above what the truth is telling you. The truth is saying you don't have to do anything. You believe you have to do something. That's what it's saying. So that once you put your interpretation above anything, then you make your error real. See, you're making it. The truth is, you guess what, Chris? You don't have to do anything to believe in the truth. You don't have to do anything to believe in the truth. You don't have to do anything to believe in the truth. You don't have to do anything. Anybody else?
I thought it was very refreshing because it feels very true to me, and I like this so much better than the crap my mind is making up
Thank you.
this morning.
Thank you. Yeah. Thank you. Anybody else? I'm gonna do about 10 minutes of what I'm gonna do, and then I'm gonna throw it open for about 5 minutes, then do 10 more minutes of what I'm gonna do, then I'm gonna throw it open. That way we get a chance to get fed and get a chance to respond. Okay. Okay. The analysis of ego motivation is very complicated, very obscure, and never without your own ego involvement. Analyzing somebody else's ego, you never do it without using your own ego.
Right.
The whole process, I love this. The whole process of trying to analyze everybody else, he said the whole process represents a clear-cut attempt to demonstrate your own ability to understand what you perceive. You're trying to demonstrate that you understand something. He said you're trying to interpret what everybody's doing, and you analyze everybody because you're trying to convince yourself you understand something. Then he goes on to say, this is shown by the fact that you react to your interpretations as if they were correct. So you're trying to convince yourself you know what's going on, Earl. And so you interpret where everybody else is coming from, because you're trying to convince yourself you know what the heck is going on. And so then you react to your interpretations as if they're true because you're trying to convince yourself. This book is saying you really don't know anything, but what you're really trying to do is judge and interpret and analyze everything so that you can convince yourself that you know what's going on, but the truth is you don't know what's going on at all. That's what this book just said to us, that we analyze and judge because we're trying to convince ourselves that we know what's going on, because the truth is we don't know what's going on at all.
No.
And you can only use your own ego to analyze somebody else's ego. So I can't say you got any quality that's not in my own mind, because as soon as I say it's in you, it automatically identifies it as being in me, because it takes the selfishness in me to see the selfishness in you. It takes the craziness in me to see the craziness. I can't be sane seeing crazy people. You can only be a crazy person seeing a crazy person. That's deep, because if I'm gonna analyze you, I gotta do it through my own ego too.
Sure.
So how would I know what crazy is if it wasn't a part of my mind that was crazy? How would I even know what selfishness was unless it was a part of my mind that's selfish? How would I even know what fear is unless there was how could I know what somebody else's anger is unless I am also angry myself? So as soon as you judge somebody else, what he's telling me is what you've just done is found out exactly what you have going on within your own mind that needs to be changed. So you shouldn't even get them involved. Because you wouldn't even be seeing it if it wasn't in your mind.
Right.
That problem you see in your husband, that's in your mind. You need to get rid of it in your own mind, and then you won't see it in your husband. Okay? And
They're recuperating over that.
you know what's really deep too? What's really deep is how it ends when it says, he says, you react to your interpretations as if they were correct. You may then control your reactions behaviorally. So you might control the way you behave, but you're not controlling the way you feel. So you can behave like you like me, but really be feeling a whole lot of fear and anger toward me. So he says, that's a split. He says this is a split or an attack on the integrity of your mind. In other words, when you behave one way and feel another way, you're pitting one level of your mind against another level of your mind. When you behave one way, different from how you feel, you're pitting one part of yourself against another part of yourself, and that's why you feel conflict. You're behaving differently from how you feel on the inside. He says that's an attack on the integrity of your mind. But that came from you interpreting and judging everything around you because you're trying to convince yourself that you know what's going on. Yeah. And your truth is, you don't. Okay, any questions, any comments about that paragraph? Yes.
I have a comment, I guess, about acting against oneself. That's how I understand the idea of sin. That sin is defined as to act against oneself.
And you're always acting against yourself when you're behaving differently from how you feel. But does that mean if you feel like going kicking somebody's butt, you should just go ahead and do it? See, that's just a trick to make you lose sight of the main idea, which is that you're pitting one part of yourself against another part of yourself when you behave opposite to the way you feel. That's the only point it's trying to make. And we can go into all the reasons why that could be a mistake, but we're just trying to hear it, because I don't know what's going on. And anybody else? Anybody else? I love this. We're trying to, he says it represents a clear-cut attempt to demonstrate your own ability to understand what you perceive. You are trying to demonstrate that you really understand what you see. That's what he's telling me. He says, I'm analyzing everybody because I'm trying to prove to myself that I understand something.
Do my feelings come from my interpretations of what I'm...
Exactly. Your feelings come from your interpretation. Now you're feeling the feeling, but you might not want to behave on that feeling. So now you got your behavior one way, but you're feeling another way. But your feelings are always coming from your interpretations. You're right. All feelings are interpretations. One of the easiest way to prove that is when you think somebody does something accidentally, you're upset about something, you find out they did it accidentally, and then you change the way you feel instantly. Which means that the only thing you changed at that moment was your interpretation. The minute you changed your interpretation, you weren't mad at them anymore. That's true of any emotion. Then why is it that I can't change some emotions that I've had all my life? Because you're still hanging on to the same interpretation all your life. You still hate your daddy because you're still interpreting that your daddy hurt you. So that's why it looks like that emotion you kept for the last 20 years. It could change just like the rest of them, but you're not willing to give up your interpretation. You're not willing to give up the idea that he hurt you. You're not willing to give up the idea that she hurt you. And because you're not willing to give that idea up, you're not willing to give that interpretation up, so you keep the feeling. And then you wonder why that feeling toward my mama don't change. Your interpretation of your mama haven't changed. And you're trying to convince yourself you understand what you see in your mama. That's why you're analyzing your mama's motivation. Because you're trying to convince yourself you know your mama. And the course is saying, nah, you don't understand anything you see. That's lesson 3 or 4. I think that's funny. What am I supposed to say today? I do not understand anything I see. Because what? That's the truth. Anybody else before I go to the next paragraph? I don't care. Remember now, agreement is okay. You don't have to agree with anything that I'm saying. It's all right. But I know I'm doing this to you. I know that I'm interpreting you. And I know I'm reacting to you according to the way I'm interpreting you right now. And I know that sometimes I behave opposite from the way I feel. Because most of the time I feel like being even wilder. So I'm pretty much under strain. I'm pretty much under strain 24 hours a day. I'm always behaving different than the way I feel. I just don't want to freak nobody out. And then I come to find out everybody around me feel the same way. Everybody sitting around trying not to freak nobody out, you know what I'm saying? And then we all going through all this strain. That's why I have some friends that I can just freak out. I make sure I have some people in my life I can freak out with. You know, that I don't have to hold back who I am around. You know, I don't want to scare nobody, but I don't want to feel limited all the time either. You know, I got to have an escape valve, so I got escape valve people. I know who to go to when I want to get off.
All right.
You know, I know who to go to when I want to feel the joy. when I want to feel at peace, when I
Yeah.
want to feel aware, when I
Uh-huh.
want to feel safe. I know who I feel that way around.
Excuse me.
You know, and that I'm beginning to find out that that's just an interpretation of them, and all I have to do is change my interpretation of everybody else, and I'll have more and more experiences of people that I enjoy. But this is really deep. This section I'm gonna cover over the next few weeks. I don't care how long it takes. This is to me, this is the deepest section in the Course in Miracles. This is the one that if a person got this one section and they didn't read no more of the book, they would have gotten what they need to transform their life. This is the section.
The little tiny bit you've done.
Yeah, just 2 paragraphs. You already see the thing is straight up cold-blooded. No, you already see that.
So just really quick, so then, like if I say something to someone or do something to someone and I mean it a certain way and they take it a different way, then that's their interpretation.
There you go.
It's nothing that I did wrong.
No. And one day you realize you don't have no control over their interpretation, and no matter what you say, they're gonna interpret it the way they want to anyway. So what you start doing is you only say what you want to believe, because you're the only one that's listening to you anyway. One day you're gonna have a startling realization that nobody's paying attention to nothing you say anyway. It's just your own, and you're gonna think they're even listening to you. And then so when you realize nobody's hearing you anyway because they're just hearing their interpretation of what you've said because they're analyzing your motivation, then you say what you want to come to you. So you start saying, you know what I'm saying, well, the truth is I want peace and love and joy in this situation, and the only thing I want is freedom for you and freedom for me, and I think forgiveness is the way it should go. You know, in other words, I say back to them exactly what it is that I'd like to see happen in my life because they are not hearing me anyway. They're hearing their own interpretation of what I'm saying. So I'm the one that's hearing me. So it's important that I say things to me that I want to be true. Because they're not hearing you anyway. If a person decided to like you, they like you almost no matter what you do. You can do the most inexcusable thing and they make an excuse. They say, oh, okay, if it was anybody else, I'd be tripping right now, but it's you, so because they've already made the decision that they like you. But the person that's made the decision, like anybody come in this room and they made up their mind as soon as they walked in that they don't like me as a teacher. Every single thing that comes out of my mouth for the rest of that hour will be used to justify them not liking me. He's too joyful. He's too joyful. He's too sad. He's too this. He's too that. Because they've already, first you make your declaration and then you arrange everything to make your declaration true. That's the way we run it. Sure. First I decide to separate, then I'm going to come up with all the reasons I need to separate. First I'm going to decide to join with you, then I'm going to think of all the reasons to join with you. So it's telling me that I need to remember that as much as I can, I need to stop acting and behaving differently from the way that I feel. And if you are sane, you know the difference between I feel like murdering somebody, so I'm gonna go out and do it. If you're conscious enough to read this book, you're conscious enough not to do something that's stupid. You wouldn't even be reading this book if you was on the level of consciousness that still was a possibility that your feelings would be such that you go out and want to hurt somebody. That's why the Course says people who are totally insane cannot read this. Because a totally insane person could not comprehend anything that I'm saying. Wow. He says the Course in Miracles, you should be proud about this. He says the Course in Miracles is only available to those who are partially sane. I'm telling you, we are partially sane. And we should be proud of it. That's right, you know. And that, when I first heard that, it was so fun. I said, I think I've been insulted by Jesus. But I knew exactly. Try saying any of this stuff to somebody that's completely into thinking of the world, and they will say you are crazy. And they won't have any doubt about it. They'll think you are crazy. If you say I create my own reality and what happens comes from my own mind and my own consciousness, they will think you are nuts. If you say you do not die, you live on, they will think you are nuts. That's why stuff like this is not even available to people who still completely believe that they're separate. That's your protection. That's your protection. Your protection is your goal. Your purpose is protecting you. You want to be safe in the world, it's your purpose that protects you, according to this. So, let me go to the next paragraph. This is some good stuff. I'm going to go on this, okay. It says, now, here's a good one. It says, there is but one interpretation of motivation that makes any sense. How many?
One.
And because it's the Holy Spirit's judgment, which is the same as saying, because it's your loving mind's judgment, right? We talk about just pure love. Because it's your Holy Spirit's judgment, it requires no effort at all on your part. If it's God's judgment, it doesn't require. This judgment doesn't require any effort. This one interpretation doesn't require any effort on our part. This one new interpretation that we need does not require any effort on. So I'm not telling you anything to do. 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 I'm not telling you anything. I'm not about to tell you something to do. There is nothing for you to do. There's nothing for you to do. I'm not getting ready. You're not getting prepared for another teacher to tell you something for you to do. There's nothing for you to do. It says this is the Holy Spirit's judgment, so it doesn't require your judgment at all. You don't have to come up with what's going on. The Course says it's simply this. Every loving thought is true. Everything else is an appeal for healing and help, regardless of the form it takes.
Wow.
Can anyone be justified in responding with anger to a brother's plea for help? No response can be appropriate except a willingness to give the brother the help. For help and only help is what the person is asking for. If you offer the person anything else but help, then it means you are assuming the right to attack their reality by interpreting their reality as you see it. Perhaps the danger of interpreting somebody else's reality as you see it to your own mind isn't fully apparent. In other words, if you believe that an appeal for help is something else other than an appeal for help, you're going to react to the something else. Your response will therefore be inappropriate to reality as it is, but not to your perception of it. So there's only one interpretation and motivation that makes sense. Everything that any of you are doing or anybody else is doing in my life is either love or a call for love. Either it's a loving thought. If it's a loving thought, it's true. Anything else coming out of that person's mouth is a call for help, a call for healing, and a call for love. Now, you are cussing me out. The truth is it's a call for love. So, could I be justified in getting angry at you because you asking me for help? You call me a stupid mother, and I go, I can't get mad about that. That dude just asking for my help.
Oh, that's a good way to respond.
That's what he's saying. He says the truth is that if it's not loving, it's a call for help. If it's not loving, it's a call for love. If it's not loving, it's a call for help. If anything's not loving, it's a call for love. And he says, can you be justified if somebody's just calling for your help? Could you be justified in getting mad at somebody who's just asking for your help? Then it goes on to say, no response is really appropriate except to give it to him. You asking for my help, the only response that's appropriate is to give it to you because that's all you're asking for. You're just asking for my help, but you're calling me a black MF. But the truth is, you're just calling for my help in a very unique way. And what I do is I get caught up in the way the person is calling for help, and so I'm paying more attention to what they're saying to me than the call for help behind what they're saying. You call me a black MF, I'm busy dealing with that and not realizing that was just the form your call for my help came in. That you were calling for my help. And so if I see that you're really calling for my help to even say something like that to me, then at the same time, I can't get mad at you. That's the end of me getting angry. How can I get angry when I see the person just calling for help? I was getting angry because I saw them as cussing me out, calling me out of my name. In other words, that's what he said. I am, when I offer you anything else except for help, it's because I am attacking the truth. I'm attacking the reality. The reality is you just calling for my help. And if I offer you anything else, I'm assuming the right to attack your reality as I see fit. So you cussing me out, I see it something else other than a call for help. If I see it something else than a call for love, then I'm going to react to the something else. See, I'm reacting to you calling me a black mother. So I'm responding to that and not to your call for love. I will believe that my response is appropriate to my perception of it, though. Your response would therefore be inappropriate to reality because your response is not answering that call for love. So your response actually is inappropriate in terms of reality. Then in truth, the only thing this person is doing is calling for your help. You're cussing them out and getting just as upset with them. That really is you're attacking that person's reality because the truth is that person is just calling for help. That person is just calling for healing. You're seeing it as something else. So the truth of it is you're assuming the right to attack his reality because you interpret it as you see fit. And so if I see what you're doing is trying to attack me, then I'm going to respond to the attack and I'm not going to respond to the truth. And the truth is that you're calling for help and that you're calling for love. Breathe.
Yeah.
Breathe. I can feel the room, the energy in the room shift.
Is that your perception?
Yes, always. And I bet you it's correct. And you know what's even better than that? It don't matter.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter if I was telling the truth about everybody's energy shifting or not. What was really cool about it was that I felt safe enough to say how I felt in the moment. That's the beauty of it, not the truth of what I said, but the fact that I was willing to say it. That's what y'all got to understand, and I got to understand. It ain't about the truth of it anymore. It's about creating a reality where people feel safe enough with you that they can express anything that they're thinking and feeling exactly the way they're thinking and feeling it in your presence. And they won't do it as long as you judge what they're saying. They will clam up on you, and you will be the last one to know who you're with. And then you'll be shocked when they do something unexpected. They really can't talk to you.
Yeah.
That's why it looks like you're shocked. So, no matter what that person did that I'm mad at, the truth is that it's just a call for love and a call for help and a call for healing. And so I shouldn't be getting mad at them because they're calling for my help. The really only appropriate response would be for me to give them my help. If I'm offering them anything else other than my help, then that means that I'm assuming the right to attack what's really going on because I want to respond the way I want to respond according to how I've interpreted it. I want my interpretation. I want to use my interpretation in spite of what the universe has told me the true interpretation is, which is every loving thought is true, and everything else is just an appeal for help and healing. If I want to see it as any other way, that's what he's saying. You just see experiencing your desire to interpret reality as you see fit, and then you're going to pay attention to what you think is happening, and then you make the error real. Wow. Any questions or comments about that?
Woo!
Yeah, I do that.
All right. Now, if there's somebody you got grievances against, somebody you pissed off at, somebody you don't like, and you're hanging on to it, then this is not pleasant to hear. Because I really want to believe that you attacked me, and I don't want to answer your call for love. As a matter of fact, listen to this next paragraph. It says, there's nothing to prevent you from recognizing all calls for help is exactly what all calls for help are, except your own imagined need to attack. The reason why I don't see it as a call for help and love is because I want to attack that joker. I don't want to see what you did as a call for help because I want to see it as you attack me. Then it goes and says, and it is only this that makes you willing to engage in endless battles with reality, in which you deny the reality of the need, you deny the reality of the need, you deny the reality of the need for healing by making the need unreal. You say that really isn't a call for love, that really isn't a call for help. I'm going to make that need for healing unreal. You would not do this except for your own unwillingness to accept reality as it is. That means you're going to withhold it from yourself. So the reason why I don't want to see what you're doing as a call for help is because I don't believe I deserve help, and I don't want to be helped when I need it. If I don't love myself enough to believe I need to be helped, then I'm not going to see what you do as a call for help. Because if I see what you do as a call for help, then my own call for help would be answered by universal law. By me not being willing to see what you do as a call for help, that's my way of preventing myself from being helped, because I don't believe I deserve to be helped. So my unwillingness to see what someone else does as a call for help is a reflection of my own desire to not be helped myself. It says it right here. You wouldn't do this except for your unwillingness to accept reality as it is, and which you therefore withhold from yourself. So I'm withholding it from myself by withholding it from you. So my whole purpose of withholding it from you is really to withhold it from myself. I'm holding that grievance against you so that I can suffer. I'm the one I'm really trying to make suffer. Okay, any thoughts, any comments about that paragraph?
It's deep.
What's deep about it?
Just that, like, if I withhold, if someone is calling out for love and I don't answer with love, I judge them, and basically I'm withholding that love from me and judging myself.
And what's the brilliance of that strategy? The brilliance of that strategy is that I'm much more likely to forgive you and want to treat you right if I realize that it's just withholding my own good from me if I don't. I'm much more likely to do it for me than I do it for you. So if I think that not withholding help from you assures that I'm going to be helped, my own desire to be helped is going to make me want to answer your call for help, because of my own desire to be okay. If you tell me, like, Earl, you will be safe from the tornado as long as you make everybody else aware that they're going to be safe in the tornado. If you make everybody else aware they're going to be safe in the tornado, then we guarantee your safety. Well, immediately you'll be out telling everybody you could about the tornado. Not because you care so much about them, but because you yourself want to be free of injury. So the Course in Miracles to me is using our own law of self-preservation for the first time in our life, using our own selfishness to free us and make us unselfish. Rather than try to change my mind so that I think about you more than I think about me, the Course in Miracles shows me how I'll be safe the more I think about you, which is a brilliant approach for someone who thinks they're separate and thinks they're on their own and in the world trying to make it. I need to believe that as I help you, I help myself. That's a good thought. That's a thought that'll motivate the average person to help somebody. I mean, we can be all high and mighty and spiritual and all that, but let's get real. The truth is, most of us are not as concerned about somebody else eating before they go to bed tonight than we're interested in ourselves eating before we go to bed tonight. Let's just get real. You're not thinking about a roof over my head as quick as you're thinking about a roof over your head. None of us are. So, how can I use that to my advantage? Well, as you make sure that you want your brother to have a roof over their head, you will have a roof over your head. Oh, then I should be more giving so that I can be safe. Yeah, that's cool. Don't think that that's not spiritual. It's another trick. You won't get motivated until you see how it benefits you.
Wow.
We would get real.
Yep.
We're most motivated when we think something is benefiting us.
Yes.
Or else we would be the greatest humanitarians that ever lived, all of us. So, you know what I'm saying? It's like the action speaks louder than words. You know, when was the last homeless person you fed? Okay, so we don't think about other people as quick as we think about ourselves. So we're innocent. And so we're being taught that how we feel about that is coming from our own interpretations. And that we need to just see everything that's going on as a call for love and a call for help. And if we see it as a call for love and a call for help, instead of the person's trying to hurt me, then that would allow when I am acting crazy and I am going off and I'm not being loving, that means that I will allow the universe to also help me. If I can see somebody else's insanity as a call for help, then I'm creating a reality that when I surely act crazy, which I'm going to do sooner or later, I'll have people in front of me that go, Earl, that's a call for help. The way the Earl's going to say, look at that dude, look at that crazy dude. I don't even help him. You don't want them people to be around when you have a call for help. Not the ones that the first thing they do is attack you and judge you for being afraid. You want to create a reality that when you're afraid, you attract people that don't want you to be afraid and they want you to know you're safe and they want you to know you're loved. So they're not attacking you back because you cussed them out. They're knowing that you're afraid, and so they want to show you that you're safe and that you're loved, so you lose your desire to attack. They don't do like the fearful people, which is they attack you back, and they don't want to see what you're doing as a call for help and a call for love, because they don't want their own call for help and call for love to be answered, because they hate themselves, and so therefore they don't want to be helped.
Yes.
So how do you know when a person hates themselves and they don't want to be helped? Because they don't see anybody else's call for help. They just see everybody else as attacking them. That's deep, man. Yes.
I got hung up on something.
Uh-oh.
My brain got stuck.
Well, that's the first thing to forget.
There's in section 5 it says, deny him your help and you will not recognize
Well,
God's
you jumped
answer."
ahead. You jumped ahead.
I did?
Yeah, we haven't got through that
I'm
paragraph.
sorry.
Yeah. I'm gonna get to that one. That's a good
I got all
point.
excited.
I know, me too. That's why I'm going on. Me too. That's right. I want to see a woman excited in front of me. That's a good thing. That's a good thing. I'm glad to see that happen in my reality. Okay, let's do the next one. Let's do the next one. That's all we're going to do is analyze this to lose the meaning of it anyway. So let's go a little bit further. That's it. It's surely good enough. It's surely good enough to tell you not to judge what you do not understand. It's surely good. It's surely good advice to tell you don't judge what you don't understand. No one, bronze this one, no one with a personal investment is a reliable witness. No one with a personal investment is a reliable witness. No one with a personal investment is a reliable witness. Because to the person who has a personal investment, the truth to that person has become whatever that person wants it to be. If I have an investment, then I'm going to try to twist this around to the way I want it to be. The truth is, it's the way I want it to be because I got a personal investment. So if I got a personal investment, I'm going to try to make it the way I want it to be. You want to go out with somebody else, I don't want you to go out with somebody else, then I'm not the person to ask advice about you going out with somebody else. Because I got a personal investment. You know what I'm saying? You're not going to talk to the vegetarian and expect them to give you an objective opinion of a meat eater. They got a personal investment in being a vegetarian, so they are not a reliable witness to what the effects of eating meat is about. or vice versa. No one with a personal, don't go to anybody with a personal investment if you want them to give you an honest assessment about anything. Don't go to the person with the personal investment if you want to know an objective opinion about anything. That's so different from what we were taught. But I can see the total truth of that. If I got a personal investment, I am not going to be truly objective about what you're bringing up. You know what I'm saying? If I want to stay in the house and I'm asking your advice about moving, I'm not going to be giving you an objective opinion of that because I want to stay there. But I will try to make the truth what I want it to be, which is we need to stay in this house. That's the truth I'm going to give you because I got a personal investment. So nobody with a personal investment is a reliable witness because the truth is going to be whatever they want it to be. The truth is going to be whatever they want it to be. Then it goes on to say, if you are unwilling to perceive an appeal for help as what it is, an appeal for help, if you're unwilling to see a call for help as a call for help, if you're unwilling to see a call for help as a call for help, it's because, if you're not willing to do this, it's because you are unwilling to give help and to receive it. To fail to recognize a call for help is to refuse help. Was that the one you were asking me about? To fail to, was that the sentence?
No, keep going.
Okay. He says, to fail to recognize a call for help is to refuse help. Would you maintain that you don't need help? You're maintaining that you don't need help. This is what you are maintaining when you refuse to recognize a brother's appeal for help. It's only by answering his appeal for help can you be helped. Deny him your help, and you won't recognize God's answer, God's help to you. The Holy Spirit doesn't need your help in interpreting motivation. God doesn't need your help in interpreting what's going on. God doesn't need your help. God doesn't need my help. God doesn't need my help in interpreting what's happening. The universe doesn't need my help in interpreting what's happening. The universe doesn't need my help in interpreting. The universe don't need me to tell it what's happening. God don't need me to tell God, hey, psst, God, let me tell you what's really going on. Hey, let me tell you, I've judged everything, Creator. I know exactly what's going on. Let me give you the 411 on what's really going on down here. The Course is saying, I'm not to break it to you, but the Creator of the universe doesn't need your interpretations of anything. Doesn't need your judgments of anything, your perceptions of anything, nothing about your idea about what anything is. God doesn't need your opinion, doesn't need your recognition or understanding of the truth. Any part of that is what the Course is saying to us. I love that. I love that. He says, but you do need his. God doesn't need my help in interpretation, but I sure need the Creator's help. I need the Creator's help. The Creator doesn't need mine. I need the Creator's help. So, I'll say it one more time. Okay, that was the paragraph. Now, what was the sentence in it for you?
Well, it's also associated with section 6, so just keep going.
Okay, well, let me stop at chapter section 5 here just for a second. What do you think about that thought that nobody with a personal investment is a reliable witness? Can you see the truth of that statement?
Yes.
Okay. What about the statement that, I love this, that if you're unwilling to see somebody else's call for help, it's just because there's a part of you that doesn't want to be helped. See, that's deep. Because
That one's harder.
Right. Well, it's hard for us to believe that we don't love ourselves as much as we don't.
Right.
So the book is, see, the Course in Miracles is a book that, what makes it the toughest book to teach to me is that the book is all about what people unconsciously think and believe that they don't know. So when you're telling somebody about something that they don't know, of course they're not going to agree with you because they don't know it. So the book says to us, and this is what it did that made it make sense to me. It was like, do I think God wants me to have a rough time and feel miserable? Do I think my Creator wants me to have some kind of an unhappy life in any way, shape, form, or fashion? My mind says, no. Okay, then where is it coming from? It's got to be coming from me. It's just that simple. If God is only love and our Creator is only love and everything is only love, then where's the pain coming from? It can't be coming from that, so it's got to be coming from something else. And that's what it's trying to get us to understand. If you don't feel like you are receiving the help that you want to receive in life, it's because you're not perceiving anybody else's call for love and call for help. You're responding to your judgments of what you think they're doing, and you're putting your judgments of what you think they're doing in front of the truth, which tells you they're only calling for love because there's some party that wants to hurt them and attack them no matter what. So it doesn't want to hear that it's a call for love and a call for help, because if you heard it as a call for love and call for help, you'd have to be compassionate and understanding. But if I can see it as if you attack me, then I'm okay to attack you back, because that's what I really want to do anyway. I want to attack you. So I can't see it as a call for love. That's what we were just told. That's why we don't, which means I don't want to be helped. Which means I don't want to be helped. Because the help isn't going to come to me if I'm not recognizing other people's call for help. The help isn't going to come to you know why? Because even if it showed up, you wouldn't see it. Even if the loving person showed up, you wouldn't see them, because a person whose mind is full of attack and fear doesn't recognize love.
Yes.
So even if somebody's there handing you the sandwich you need when you're starving, if you hate yourself, you won't even see the friggin' sandwich. You just see the person that might be trying to hand you something that's poison.
Yeah.
The fearful mind never sees anything other than fearful ways. So even when the help shows up, the fearful mind doesn't even see it, because they haven't learned how to see things as a call for love. They haven't learned how to recognize love yet. So you got a bunch of people sitting around waiting to be helped without ever seeing anybody else's call for help. Yeah.
How do I tell the difference between learning and judgment?
They're the same thing.
There you go.
I can't learn.
They're not the same. Learning is judgment, because it's a categorizing, it's a labeling, it's a describing. So the Course is telling us, okay, we made up a skill called learning, which he says gods don't really need anyway, because gods are creators. But since we wanted to have this experience of seeing what it would be like to be separate, which we've done a pretty good job of, then we learn to see things the way that we learned to see them. And so now we're seeing them the way we've learned to see them. So then the Course in Miracles comes along and said, well, what you need is a new way of seeing. Because it's the way you've already learned to see that's producing the reality you have now. So now you need to learn a new way of seeing things, so you can have this brand new reality that will also come on the other side of your learning. So I'm going to use the learning skill you made up for your benefit now. Instead of learning how to hurt yourself, now you're going to be learning how to have love and help come to you. So then you don't have to fight your learning skill. You're just using your learning skill for a new purpose. And then you're not fighting yourself. If I'm selfish, use my selfishness for a new purpose. Okay, Earl, I want you to be so selfish that you want everybody else to be happy, because you know that's how you're going to be happy. Be that selfish. Be so selfish that you want freedom for everybody else so that you can have it.
Yes.
And then the ego goes, oh, but that's not really spiritual. But you're not really spiritual? No way. You're already not doing nothing really spiritual. So what's the big change? It's like all of a sudden we go, like, you're already not spiritual in terms of your actions. Or you wouldn't be afraid and angry and upset. That's how you know.
Is it just enough to recognize that it's a call for love?
Bingo.
I don't have to do anything to help them.
Well, no, it doesn't mean you don't have to do anything to help them. It means that you need to allow yourself to be guided in that moment about what to do. And your guidance might be to do absolutely nothing physically, and your guidance might be to go down to this halfway house and buy 10 dozen, baskets of food for somebody. There is no cut and dried rule of behavior. There's only a cut and dried rule about recognizing what it is. It's a call for help. It's a call for love. Now, how that is answered is up to the Holy Spirit's judgment. You are not God. You are not the one to decide what's best for anybody. But you're supposed to ask for guidance about what to do in that situation. And then you'll know. One of the ways you'll know that it's your guidance is because it'll feel lighter, it'll feel right, it'll feel like you won't feel that resistance in the body. You know how when you get something you know is right for you, and there's just no part of you that's just doubting about that. You just know that's what you should be doing in that moment. So you'll be instructed. And so the ego is always going to be looking for me to tell you exactly what to do. And this book ain't about how you do. It's about how you see. And people are looking for doing. And it's really about how you're going to see, how are you going to interpret the reality now. Yeah.
One of the things that was a big change for me is like, because I learned that give to get, growing up, I mean, I'll love you as long as I know that I'm going to get something back, and one of the biggest changes was learning that the love is the gift to me.
Great. Absolutely. The giving is in the receiving. But it's nothing about it not being okay to feel like you're just giving because you want to give. All right, out of your heart. But don't you see the brilliance of the Course, y'all? But you got a selfish part. We all know we got a. Come on, let's get real. We all know that. Well, then this book is saying, okay, if you do, well, I've got that covered too. Give what you like to receive. End of story. Don't make that something bad because you may not be giving because you're just giving to get. That's okay. Look, that's okay. If I'm starving and you want to give to me some food just so you can get some, believe the starving person won't mind. They will be glad that you're giving to get. Yeah, I'm going to give you some peace because I want to get some. Well, the recipient of the peace will be very glad to get your peace. He wouldn't give a hoot about why you're giving the peace. And it was like the person saying, well, no, I'm not going to take this sandwich because you're just giving to get. I'm starving, but I'm not going to eat this sandwich because you're just giving it to me to get. No, you wouldn't. If you were starving, you would like, and you'd be saying, thank you, God, thank you, man, thank you for doing this. I don't care what your motivation is. Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. So we are in a system that no matter what you do, you win. And it drives our ego bananas because our ego is the part of the mind that's looking for the sin against ourselves, something that we're doing bad. Somehow we're wrong. Somehow we can lose. So a lot of times in the Course in Miracles class, it feels to me like I'm playing this chess game with everybody, where it's like I'm going to present a premise, and then let me see how many ways you can find a hole in that. Then I'm going to present another one. And that's why, that's what happens with the Course. Not with everybody, but that's what I know. That's what I did with the Course when I first read it. It was like I would read that part of me and go, how can I see how that couldn't possibly be true? And that happens all the time in the Course class. More so than sometimes, wow, that's a damn good idea. Let's side with that idea. Let's do that idea. Now, what we have to do to remember that idea? What is that idea that's going to make me receive help no matter what I do? It's more like, well, how would that not work? How could that not work? How could that not be? Where can I find a flaw in that reasoning? Rather than, I could have people see anything I do, no matter how crazy I act, as a call for help and a call for love, and therefore they would be open to helping me in my fear because I would have to be afraid as I don't know what to be acting crazy to begin with. So I need somebody to recognize that I'm afraid who can offer me the love that I need in this moment to get out of my fear. And when I get out of my fear, I get out of my insanity.
Yes.
So I want the person that's going to really help me not attack. And that certainly isn't going to be the person that see what I'm doing as an attack themselves and then attack me more. Which further convinces me that I should be afraid, which is making me attack to begin with. I'm sorry, Earl, you're going to have to take a stand, buddy. You're going to have to say either the path that you've chosen is the truth and you're going to obey it, or you're going to have to continue to do it the way you learned from the world, that you've lived in the world long enough to know it doesn't bring any kind of lasting, complete joy and satisfaction ever. It never has. You know it never has. You've never gotten anything where you wasn't the next minute looking for something else. You know that. So you can either stay on that system, Earl, or you can get on a new system, Earl. And the new system calls for a new way of looking at things. Are you willing to look at things in such a way that you cannot lose? Are you willing to entertain that there's a way of thinking that you would never be harmed and you could be safe? Are you willing to invest in some ideas that are so radically different from anything you've ever learned that it really gives you a really changed life? Are you still trying to defend some of your ideas while incorporating some of the new ideas, and you picking and choosing which truth that you think you want to take and believe right now because that truth might not fit in with your particular fantasy or script that you made up about how you think things should be? Are you ready to go, I've had enough over here, and I'm going to start seeing it as a call for love? Because it said I just need to recognize it as a call for love. It didn't say how I should react to it. It just said I should recognize it as a call for love. Even if I can't answer it right then, even if I'm mad at what they just said. But I'm going, you said call for love, but you're still a bastard. That's what it comes to being, to be saying, you're a friggin' idiot, but you're innocent. You might not always, I'm not saying you're going to always feel like it's a call for love. I didn't nowhere in nothing I said that said you have to go, it's a call for love. I don't care what they're doing, it's just a call for love. It didn't say that. It said, recognize it as a call for love. It says, why? Because you want yours recognized.
Yes.
Darling, you're in a universe that reflects your own consciousness. And you attract people to you who are part of your mind. So would you really like to meet people like you?
Not today.
You know what I'm saying? Think about, that's like, I'm like, it's like, well, I mean, you need to become the kind of person you want to meet, Earl.
That's right.
You got to become the kind of person you want to meet. Do you really think you're going to meet somebody opposite to you? That's hilarious. You think you're gonna be, Earl, you think you're gonna be attacking everybody, selfish, controlling, and yet you're gonna attract to you this incredible being that has none of those qualities, who more than anything else want to put up with your crap. That's what they want to do. Or do you think you will attract somebody who has the same lessons to learn as you do? Regardless of how you all look at the beginning, they're going to end up being just like you, and you're going to end up being just like them. You know what I'm saying? Or would you like to be in a relationship where when you were afraid, the person didn't attack you, but recognize it as a call for help and a call for love? Those are your two choices. Those are the two kind of people you're going to run into. And I know it's scary at first because it looks like you're being asked to be kind and loving when it looks like you're being abused or misused. Your ego is going to tell you it looks like you don't, you're just letting yourself be taken advantage of. But you can peacefully and nicely say, I'm out of here. Right. Being peaceful and nice doesn't mean that you don't lose the backbone to say, yay, nay, I will do this, I won't do that. It just means there's no need to attack yourself in the process by going off and attacking you. Doesn't mean you're anybody. As a matter of fact, the people that's blown my ego's mind the most have been peaceful people who told me no. It was more devastating than the angry no. Try a peaceful no. No.
Yeah.
Blah, 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 blah. No. We ready for the person to go, no! But somebody is, and it's just open shut case. No.
What?
Right.
That's pretty empowering too.
So let's acknowledge ourselves for hearing this much. Even if we didn't like some of the stuff we heard, we didn't understand it, a part of us don't agree with it, it doesn't matter. The fact that we were even willing to let ourselves hear it is what makes us the champions.
Yeah.
We are the champions. We are the champions. We are the champions. All right, let's do the love offering, y'all.
If you don't, then let me know.
Good.
Yeah. Oh, my goodness. I want to close this on a paragraph from this book called The Message of A Course in Miracles. It's awesome. It's a translation of the text in plain language. I've been reading it. It's been really interesting. So I like to read the first paragraph.
Doesn't bother me. Nothing bothers me.
All right. The judgment of the Holy Spirit. It says there's only one interpretation of motivation that makes any sense, and because it's the Holy Spirit's judgment, it requires no effort on your part. Your every extension of love is true. Everything else, no matter what form it takes, in you or in others, everything else is just an extension of love. Everything else, no matter what form it takes, in you or in others, is a projection of your split mind. Therefore, it's your call for healing. You are not justified in responding in anger to your call. You are not justified in responding in anger to your call for healing. Your only appropriate response is a willingness to extend healing, because this is all you're asking for, healing. Offer anything else other than healing, and you are assuming the right to decide what is real with your personal mind's interpretation. The danger to your mind is that if you interpret your appeal for healing as something else, your response will be to the personal mind's interpretation, not to heal your mind, to return your mind to reality. So I love how we're saying it's your call for help. It's just their call for help is your call for help. Their call for help is my call for help. Your call for help is my call for help. Your fear is my fear, in the sense that it's your call for love, that's my call for love. And all I have to do is see it that way, and then ask the Holy Spirit what would be the appropriate response if possible. If it's something that's happening so fast you don't have a chance to ask that question, you're just going to respond instinctively according to your programming anyway. So don't worry about that. It's not like you're going to stop if somebody's coming at you. It's not like if somebody's coming at you that with a knife, you're going to stop and say, Holy Spirit, what should I do in this moment? By then you already have programmed yourself about what to do. Whether that's defend yourself physically or drop to your knees and say, God help me, or say, I want another way to look at this and watch the whole situation transform, because it could happen like that. So, so what you want to do is you want to practice this stuff now so that the response will become automatic when you need it without even thinking about it. Does that make sense? So like when you learn martial arts, they teach you all these forms to do so that when the situation comes, you'll do the forms automatically without thinking about it to protect yourself. You'll know to go block. You're not going to stop there. Should I go bloom to block that blow? No, I've been doing the forms. So when it come up, I'm boom. You know, that's the way this is supposed to be. I'm supposed to tell myself it's a call for love in situations that's like somebody taking my parking space, which is like nothing, right? So that when something really big happens or something that I call really big, I've already got the answer from God already on it. You know, it's a call for love. It's a call for help. And so if I see it that way, then my call for help will be answered, and I'll be safe in my perception in that situation. So much love is coming at us that it will be more than what we think we deserve sometimes. And since it will be more than we think we deserve sometimes, it will be very difficult to hear it. So I'm about to go into difficult hearing territory, because what you are hearing and going to hear in this class is going to be so loving, and so you're going to be all right no matter what you're going through, that everything in you that doesn't want to believe that is going to come up to get you away from it and to make you fight it. I don't care if you do. I'm going to still be mercilessly coming at you with you how much you deserve love and you deserve help, no matter what. I'm going to take it as a challenge, a living challenge, to see how much love I can keep shooting out through me, no matter how somebody else around me is trying to oppose it. That's the game I want to play. I don't care what you think about what I'm doing, because you're only seeing your interpretation anyway. And at the very least, you should be seeing anything I'm doing as a call for love. If you see it as anything other than that, then it's you wanting to interpret me according to your own motivation because you want to see me that way. And that's the way it is with everybody. I just want to be mad at you, so I'm not going to interpret it any other way. I just want to be separate from you, so I'm not going to interpret it any other way. But that's me refusing to be helped when I need it, because I don't love myself enough to let me be helped when I need it. So I'll deny your call for love to keep me suffering, because I have learned in this society that it's through suffering that I become really strong and good and loving and powerful. It's through suffering that I grow. So I've got to create relationships I suffer in, financial situations I suffer in, jobs I suffer in, physical conditions that I suffer in, because I'm trying to make myself stronger. That sounds crazy when it's said back to us, but that's exactly the way we play the game. And so something comes along that says, you don't have to do anything to believe the truth. It doesn't require any effort on your part, and we freak out. You know? Because now we've finally found the secret to everything being healed, getting us out of the way.
Yeah, wow.
The secret of healing is getting us out of the way and our limited perceptions of who we think we are. That's the key to happiness. That's deep.
Yeah.
So, I'm going to see you as a call for love. Would you please see me as a call for love?
Yeah.
All right. Appreciate y'all. Thanks for coming today. So, what's your exercise for this week? It's real simple, isn't it? As much as you can, see it as what? Love, or a call for love. But that doesn't mean you have to like it.
God.
Okay? I'm not saying you got to go, it's a call for love. No. No matter how you feel, call it a call for love. That's all I'm saying. No matter how you feel, call it a call for love. And then tell yourself whatever you want to think about it. Then tell yourself whatever you want to think about it. Tell the truth first, and then go to your judgments if you must go to your judgments. But tell yourself the truth first, then go to your judgments if you need to go to your judgments. It's a call for love, but it took it from my boss, being a low-down bastard who didn't give the raise that I know I deserve. But it's a call for love. See, don't try to be holy. Just give it a new interpretation. You see what I'm saying? Don't try to be holy. That's what's slowing everybody down. They're trying to act out their version of what they think being holy, spiritual, and sweet and nice is. You know, so just drop that. Stop trying to be nice people. Just try to be truth people. Nice people is where all the problems coming from, by the way. There's been more horrible stuff done in the name of nice people than nice people think they were doing something good for everybody. It's wrought some of the worst destructive elements that we ever allowed to be created. It's nice people going somewhere trying to change people to what they think their own version of niceness is. I just need to see it as a call for help. It's a call for love. I didn't create you. I want my call for help to be answered, so I'm gonna see your call for help also. And I want peace for you because I want peace for me. And I realize all I'm seeing right now is my own interpretation. And that I'm the one that's reacting to my interpretations and not really what's going on or what was said. So everybody's got different reactions to what they just heard, which means everybody's got different interpretations of what they just heard, which is the proof that we're the ones creating our own feeling. Yeah. Or all of us will be reacting exactly the same way to what's being said. So what's giving us different reactions and behaviors? Our own individual interpretations. That's how we know we live in our own personal world that doesn't have anything to do with anybody else right now. Mm-hmm. You're just living in a world of your own judgments.
Yes. Yeah.
There's a world outside your judgments.
Yeah.
That's deep in it.
Yeah.
Yes.
And we still don't have to do anything, just recognize
the
it
Spirit
as
is counting on you not doing nothing. and the truth is, and you know what's so cool about that? The truth is, most of us ain't doing nothing, no way! It's not like it's a stretch. It's like, you mean I gotta stop doing all the stuff that I'm doing to make it happen? You know, like, no, that's why you mad now, because you ain't doing nothing, you know? So this is the path for people who don't want to do nothing. I love to create, but I'm tired of the doing.
Right.
I'm willing to be a creator, but this doer, I'm sick of the doing. I gotta do this, and I gotta do that, and I gotta do what? The other. This, that, and the other. I'm happy with that. I'm ready to create. I'm ready to say, let there be. See, that's a lot easier.
Yeah.
Let there be.
Mercy.
Have a nice day. I didn't even open this book.